Last time on Exploring Off the Grid.
Well, the Melville track has taken its toll on the big old Canter.
Jamie and John made it into Hand River, leaving the Canter in Woodsy's capable hands. Rick and the rest of the crew pushed ahead to Allen Beach to make camp for the night, hoping that Jamie and John would arrive before they have to cancel any of their plans. After leaving early from Hand River, Jamie and John are rolling into Allen Beach just in time to meet up with a local fella named Willie, who's keen to show the guys some local Indigenous art in the area.
Well, we're sitting down at Allen Beach and old Willie wanders down to say g'day. Anyway, we're getting into a bit of a chat and a bit of a chinwag, and we're talking about different things, and he's telling us about how he takes people around on these little tours that he does. We were lucky enough for him to take us to some rock art.
Yeah, so at Allen Beach, Ivan there, he introduced us to Willie, who does local tours, Indigenous tours in the area. So yeah, he was a hell of a character.
So we've got some specimen here I picked up from along the road. And very quickly, if you take the young'uns off there, you then rub it in a circular motion and crush it a little bit. It should turn into soap. You've got to be careful with trees, because some trees will have toxins, and if I clean it too much, you will watch how clean it gets, okay? A bit more. I'll get it off you yet. I'll reveal my true self. Yeah. See? Wash it. Yeah, you just... See, I'm white underneath.
Yeah, look, the best part of the tour with Willie was probably his sense of humour. Geez, he was a funny bloke. So he didn't keep it serious. It was sort of light-hearted and threw a few jokes in there. Yeah, he was a great bloke.
That's two sticks rubbing together. They call it bick. So they burn that, and when they burn that, they wait till it dies off, and then the smell comes out of that. Okay, that's the potent smell. My dad used to bring me here when I was 8. So he says that if a lady's drying out her clothes on the line and you lit a fire here, all your clothes will smell the same. He says, well, that's an equalizer to equalize all of us. So when you see a smoking ceremony done, it's to equalize everybody in that football arena or blah, 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 is to make them become one as family.
He's a very down-to-earth bloke, very knowledgeable, like he knew what he was talking about, he knew the culture, and it was just a pleasure to go with such a nice bloke.
So that's my grandpa's painting, the white one. So when somebody asks me about how old these are, it could be from yesterday. So the age of the painting is not important for us. It's the story that is important for us, and the story that travels. Regenbogenschlangen, rainbow serpent in German. So when they go home, they take a picture, they go to their grandmas. Das ist Regenbogenschlangen. You know what, Grandma? The rainbow serpent is made up from the sun and water. Make a rainbow. So they got a story from an Aboriginal fella, and they're taking it overseas. And this is my job, because if we don't continue telling the stories, then it'll fall into the category of our dreaming from Dreamtime. It's not wrong for us to say that, because sometimes our young people haven't been listening to our elders. Yeah? Now, I don't want to call them elders. I want to call them teachers, because that's the man lying there. See there? Yeah. That's his head, that's his body, and that's the lines across his chest. And the lines across his chest is about how much knowledge and understanding this person has. There's some bad people, and one of them is me. Okay? It's got a head, body, 2 arms, 3 fingers, 2 legs, 3 toes. or they could be imaged as a round body with 3 arms instead of 3 fingers. The good people stay within the light because the good people try to do good things all the time and they balance their life by doing good things and bad things. We're Homo sapiens. We do bad things, we do good things. It's about how you balance all of that. Yeah? But if we don't balance it, well then life will be pretty bloody boring.
Well, that was quite incredible. A tour with Willie is a must, and there's so much more, but we just didn't have the time today to go through to the other bits and the other areas that he had.
Yeah, so after we left the Lion's Den Hotel, we were heading to CJ's place, and Jamie was leading us there. Been quite a few years since he'd actually been up there. I think he said 8 or 9, so he'd lost his bearings a little bit.
A little bit lost this time, trying to find CJ's. All right, so we're on Zigzag Track. It's definitely taken us by surprise because we've taken the wrong track to get in here. But now we've come across a creek crossing. Doesn't look too deep, but I think it's deep enough. Look at the current up there. Oh. Wow. It's coming into nightfall now. It's getting darker and darker. We've still got a bit to go. We're nearly there though. Anyway, we get to CJ's place. And they said, oh, you went through there? And we said, yeah. They said, oh, we've lost a lot of cars through there this year. I said, oh, really? Good to know.
Yeah, so we finally got to CJ's and ended up being pretty late by the time we pulled in. It was dark, so we're having to still set up. Then it started drizzling rain, so we're there to do the Creb Track. And, well, Murphy's Law, the rain starts, so.
So then we get up the next morning, we're having a cup of coffee and some toast, and then PJ rolls in. And I mean, last time I saw PJ was sort of this time last year. We caught up with him at the Lion's Den.
Yeah, so when PJ arrived the next morning, he said, well, we'll go and check out the first hill, and we'll make a call from there.
If you can get up the first hill, well then you'd be good to go. So we said, righto, no worries. So we all head on out there just in Rick's truck, so I didn't bother taking mine. So this is the first hill?
Gamble, the first main hill anyway, the red clay one, crappy one.
So if we can't make this?
Can't make this, there's worse yet to come.
Oh well, I'll probably scoot up there in the buggy and...
Yeah, go see how slippery it's getting, but yeah, it gets slippery towards the top. Do the first few times and then that last little section's just...
Oh, you've done it before?
Yeah, mentally all the way back down.
All right. It was slippery, but the buggy can go just about anywhere, so it's no real issue. Then PJ said, well, I won't be doing that without chain.
Good to see Jono's converted to 3.0 finally.
No, man.
Come on.
No.
Do it.
No.
I thought you were...
Can't take that back. No, can't take that back.
So he goes up there with chains, comes back down, he said, I wouldn't be doing it unless you put chains on them trucks. So we're like, okay, we're not doing it then.
Only way to do it, eh?
The only way.
Yep. And I can't believe they've got me in a Toyota. I took the bait. Took the bait.
Not today.
Isn't it worse tomorrow?
Yeah, worse tomorrow. So not tomorrow either. Okay.
Well look, why I take their advice, as in PJ and CJ, is PJ has lived there and recovered people on that Creb Track for near 30 years. So he's lived there all his life. He knows the place very, very well. CJ, on the other hand, who lives at the base of the Creb Track, has been there 18, 20 years. So it was funny, you know, because I said to PJ, I said, well, what can we do then? He said, oh, well, let's go up to my place and have a cup of tea. And I said, great idea. None of these guys have been on PJ's driveway. I have. I know what's there. When we talk a driveway for PJ, it's 3 kilometres. And it's 3 kilometres of 4-wheel driving up his driveway.
So if you remember back at the Tan River, I took the Can-Am and Jamie was in the Polaris, so it had no roof on it. So this time with decided we'd swap. Well, Jamie decided we'd swap. And the rain was coming down, so we ended up throwing some max tracks on the roof as a bit of a shelter for it. You stitched me up and took me onto the roof.
That's gold. That is gold. I reckon John helped you with that, I can just tell.
Yeah, PJ's driveway, well that's a different one. Most people probably wouldn't call it a driveway. It is a driveway, of course, but yeah, it's pretty rough and ready. It's a four-wheel drive track on its own. So we're in buggies in four-wheel drive running through there, and PJ's just like a breeze up in his 75 series. But yeah, he was waiting for us the whole time. So yeah, he just blitzed through it. Yeah, he could do it with his eyes shut, I'm sure. Yeah, look, PJ's place is cool. So he's on top of a mountain. He's got a loo outside with a view. There's no door on it. So when you go and do your business, you're just looking over the whole range. That was pretty cool. Yeah, solar power, hot water's just done boiling through a donkey system with the fire going. All open living, so there's only the back and side walls and the rest was open. Yeah, it was very, very cool place. Yeah, so after we had a cup of tea at PJ's, we went down to back. So we took the buggies, chucked the chainsaw in just in case. So we headed down, it was very tight. Went down to see some old machinery down there.
Piece of cake, mate. So we get to the old house. So that's as far as we can take the buggies. And then we wander on down to the river.
There's a great big hole.
Yeah, one side down there and one side down that side.
Yeah, when you go down you see amongst all the trees, and you can barely see it from as you're coming up to it, an excavator sitting there. So apparently it hadn't moved in 40 years. So yeah, you just start thinking back to the old days and how tough they would have done it down in them areas, gold mining. So. Yeah, so we finally get back to camp at CJ's, and next minute we find out there's some people up on the track that have been stuck. We heard an actual four driver had rolled over.
Mate, I'm not joking. You slip over, right, and I'm skidding. I skidded from here to the orange coat. I'm going, I just hope there's not a stick pointing upwards as I'm skidding down the hill. I walked back up the
bush bloke said that you were here.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
So Jamie, Dave and John jumped in the Can-Am and headed up there with a bit of recovery gear to see if they could help.
We head off on these buggies, which we're having a bit of a slip and a slide on, and to get to these people. Anyway, we get up there, we see the cruiser rolled on its side. Wow.
Well, we spoke about it.
That's the situation, that's for sure. Anyway, we're talking to a few other people. There's one more car that's already got down, and it's just sitting there. And we go, all right, well, we'll go and see the other people so we can make sure nobody comes down while we try and do something with this cruiser to get it off the track. Are you that first car that I can see some lights on, where down at the bottom where the rolled over car is?
No, I'm back up here with the white car that's in the back.
Righto, so the issue is when you get down here, you're not going to get any further because there's no way of getting out of this track without either camping or waiting for it to dry. Anyway, we head back up and then we get to the next hill and there's a troopy sitting there ready to come down, and then there's a Ford Ranger stuck. Anyway, I said, there's more up further, and he said, yep. So get in the buggy, we climb up further. The track's not getting any drier, it's only getting wetter. And I can feel the buggy struggling now like mad. So hopefully we can get out of here ourselves. Climb up further, then there's three old fellas in this silver car. You guys,
yeah,
you're going to be here tonight.
Yeah, here or
Right here.
Right here. So we've got two more stuck down there on the track.
Alright.
And then you've got a rolled over one. We're running out of daylight.
Yep.
Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to probably happen tomorrow either because the rain comes in tomorrow. And then behind him are four ladies on horses.
So you reckon your group will be fine coming down and around there?
Well, course they're going to have to, or else we're going to be here with nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're waiting for you anyway.
Oh, your poor horse is flopping. Yeah.
They thought you might have gone back to Daintree.
Well, one of us did.
And we're thinking, wow, look at all these people. So at this stage, we're up to nearly 20 people on the Creb Track within the vicinity of a kilometre and a half, all stuck. And we're 5.5 kilometres in, so there's no rushing out of there. And it takes nearly an hour to do that 5 kilometres in a buggy.
So if we drag over,
We're dragging over how far?
okay, just enough to get it on its wheel that way, so
Yeah.
probably 6 foot I'd say. Okay, then the only anchor point is there, the roof rack's floating. Okay, you're gonna make a mess, so off the seat belt, fully box that tree, over the top,
Yeah.
get it, yeah, on its on the right side up.
To remind you of winch challenges, John?
Never did
Four
mate.
drive comps?
Never did a lot of wind challenges.
No?
Just watched a lot and did the fast shit. Never good at anything. Mate. Absolutely hopeless, mate.
That's all right, this is a bit of fun.
No, it's all good, mate. Eh?
Just got to help people out, don't you?
We've got to try.
So look, we had this great brainwave because we can't get a car in there. We've got 2 buggies. They've both got, you know, combined they've got 7,000 pounds of strength on a double line pull. Doubles that up to 14,000 pounds.
Go, winch in. Hold it there. Hold it there.
But we couldn't even move this thing. It's wedged itself right in there. So all we could say to the guys is you're going to have to sit in there tight because we can't move with what we've got here. You're going to have to wait till it dries until a four-wheel drive can come in and winch it. So the guy that rolled the actual cruiser, he's with the other guy in the buggy. And then his mate and his mate's father and his son are in this Ford Ranger that's stuck in the channel up the top. So I said to them, I said, look, the only choice you've got is you camp here or you camp down at CJ's. And if you want to go to CJ's, you put the swags on there now, you get in the buggy with me now, and I'll take you back there. So off we go. I've got 2 fellas, a little fella sitting in there, all seat belted in, swags on the top, and off we go. So that hour trip to get home probably took us an hour and a half. By listening to PJ just telling us about that one hill in the morning, we are so thankful because that could have been us really easily because the track now is just not passable at all. So the important part and message I want to get across is, you know, these guys know these tracks and I know now how important it is if you're told not to drive the track and it isn't closed or it is closed, whichever way it is, don't drive it because we learnt a lot from it and I can tell you every person that's in that track has learnt from this. Now CJ, just being the guy he is, and Helen his wife, they are just the ultimate people. They'll help anyone. And they come over afterwards and they said, look, come over, have a cup of tea and damper. I'll make a golden brown damper for you first thing in the morning. And we're like, how good are you? How good, honestly, are you?
CJ and Helen have set us up a breakfast, so some fresh damper cooked, some tea and coffee was there, and Helen's homemade jams was, yeah, it was a real good way to finish our trip.
So I haven't seen CJ and Helen for around about 10 years. Yeah, I've spoken to them on the phone and caught up with PJ, but I got to go and see CJ, got to go back in their house, and the house, I love their house, it's just the best. And CJ has written a book and he had to give me a copy of his book. He signed it for me and it was just great, you know, it was about his growing up. And you know, I can't wait to have a read of it. I reckon it's going to be pretty awesome. Well, what an awesome way to actually finish our trip by finishing up there with CJ and Helen, having a cup of tea, having some damper, telling a few more stories, having a good yarn, and finding out a bit more about CJ's tours. So whatever you guys do, if you're ever in the Creb, make sure you say g'day to CJ and Helen. And if you catch up with PJ, good stuff.
Well guys, we hope you enjoyed season 1 of Exploring Off the Grid. Remember, if you missed any of the episodes, you can catch up on 10 Play or on YouTube, and keep an eye out for us. We've got some massive plans for the future.